Welcome back to Tales of History, where we journey through the pivotal moments that shaped our world. In today's episode, we continue our journey through the time of India's freedom struggle. In part 2 of our two-part series, we delve into one of the most significant and tumultuous periods in history of the Indian independence movement, spanning from 1857 to 1947. This is the story of India's relentless struggle for freedom, a story of unity, resilience, and sacrifice. Let's begin. In December 1885, a monumental step was taken towards Indian self-governance with the formation of the Indian National Congress in Bombay. Initially a platform for dialogue, the Congress quickly became the voice of the Indian people, demanding greater representation and reforms from the British. What started as a modest gathering of 72 delegates soon evolved into a massive force towards India's freedom struggle. In 1905, the British decided to partition Bengal under the pretext of administrative convenience. But Indians saw it as an attempt to divide and rule. The Swadeshi Movement then emerged as a response. Indians across the country boycotted British goods, promoted local industries, and united in defiance of colonial oppression. This movement ignited a sense of nationalism that would only grow stronger with time. In 1906, the All India Muslim League was founded, aiming to protect the interests of Muslims within the broader independence movement. But unity was fleeting. In 1907, the Indian National Congress split into two factions, the moderates and the extremists at Surat. This division highlighted the growing tensions within the movement, yet it also underscored the diversity of thought in the quest for freedom. The Minto-Morley reforms of 1909, also known as the Indian Councils Act, were introduced as a concession to Indian demands offering limited political representation. But this was not enough to quell the growing dissatisfaction. In 1913, the Gadar Party was formed by Indian immigrants in the United States and Canada, committed to overthrowing British rule by armed revolution. Their fiery publications and activities kept the flame of resistance alive overseas. 1914 saw the tragic Komagata incident, where a ship carrying Indian immigrants was denied entry into Canada and forced to return to India, where many passengers faced persecution. This incident exposed the racial discrimination faced by Indians abroad. Back home in 1917, Mahatma Gandhi led his first satyagraha in Champaran, Bihar, against the exploitation of indigo farmers by British planters. This marked the beginning of Gandhi's active role in the Indian struggle, using non-violence as a powerful tool for resistance. The year 1919 was a turning point. The British passed the Rowlatt Act, which allowed for the arrest and detention of Indians without trial. The draconian law sparked widespread protests. In Amritsar, a peaceful gathering at Jallianwala Bagh turned into a massacre when British troops opened fire on unarmed men, women, and children. Over 1,000 people were killed or injured, and the brutality of the act shook the nation to its core, fueling the demand for complete independence. In response to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Mahatma Gandhi launched the Non-Cooperation Movement in 1920. Indians across the country refused to cooperate with the British government, boycotting schools, courts, and foreign goods. For the first time, millions of Indians were united in peaceful defiance. Though the movement was eventually suspended after the Chauri Chaura incident in 1922, its impact was undeniable, as it laid the foundation for mass participation in the freedom struggle. The arrival of the Simon Commission in 1927, composed entirely of British members, was met with widespread protests encapsulated by the slogan, "Simon, go back." Indians demanded a greater say in their own governance. In 1930, Gandhi launched the civil disobedience movement with the iconic Salt March to Dandi, defying the British monopoly on salt. This movement saw massive participation, with people breaking colonial laws and demanding Swaraj or self-rule. The Government of India Act of 1935 was the longest act passed by the British Parliament, and it granted significant autonomy to provinces. Yet, it fell short of Indian aspirations for complete independence. With the outbreak of World War II, the British sought Indian support. leading to the August Offer in 1940, which promised to consider Indian aspirations after the war. But the offer was too little, too late, and was rejected by Indian leaders. 1942 was the year of the Quit India movement. Gandhi's call to do or die galvanized the nation, demanding an end to British rule. The movement saw mass arrests, including Gandhi and other leaders, and widespread unrest. Meanwhile, the Cripps Mission, sent by the British government to secure Indian cooperation during the war, offered limited self-governance, but was rejected outright by Indian leaders, leading to an escalation in the demand for immediate independence. Post-war Britain was eager to resolve the Indian question. In 1945, the Wavell Plan proposed a reconstituted Viceroy's Executive Council, but the Shimla Conference that followed ended in failure due to disagreements between the Congress and the Muslim League. By 1946, discontent had spread even to the armed forces, culminating in the Indian Naval Mutiny. The sailors' revolt against British rule was a clear sign that the days of the empire were numbered. In 1946, the Cabinet Mission Plan was introduced, attempting to create a united India while granting significant autonomy to provinces. However, communal tensions were at an all-time high, leading to the eventual partition of India in 1947. On August 15, 1947, India finally achieved independence, but at the cost of a painful division. The birth of India and Pakistan was marred by widespread violence, mass migrations, and the scars of partition that would linger for decades. This was the story of India's struggle for independence, a journey of 100 years filled with courage, sacrifice, and an unyielding spirit. Thank you for joining us on Tales of History. If you enjoyed this video, do like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with more stories that shaped our world. Do leave your video recommendations in the comments. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss a video from Tales of History.